Hi, everyone. I thought that today in my speech, I would try and take your mind off the doom and gloom that's surrounding us at the moment and get you to travel a bit, even if it is from the comfort of your own sitting room. I think it's important that we use our imagination at the moment. After all, that's the only way we're going to be able to get to see anything outside of our front room, really. So I'm sure many of you are aware that during the lockdown, many companies, tourism boards, art galleries, museums arranged virtual tours. The Guardian published a list of the top 10 virtual tours being as follows. Number 1 was Machu Picchu in Peru. Number 2 was Christ the Redeemer in Rio. Number 3 was the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Number 4 was the Eiffel Tower in Paris. 5, Angkor Wat in Cambodia. 6, the Taj Mahal in India. 7, Stonehenge in the UK. 8, Petra in Jordan. 9, the Colosseum in Rome. And number 10, Chichen Itza in Mexico. Now, I don't know about you, but if I could design my own virtual tour, it would be to see the 7 wonders of the ancient world. I realize that this would be difficult, given that only one of them still stands to this day. But like I said before, imagination is key. For those of you who aren't familiar with the 7 wonders, I thought I'd give you a quick recap. Number 1 is the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. It was built between 2580 and 2560 BC, and it is the oldest of the 7 wonders. And as I mentioned, it's the only one that's still standing today. There are 3 pyramids in the complex at Giza, and the Great Pyramid is the largest. It is estimated to be built of 2.3 million blocks of limestone and granite, and it was built as a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu. Next up, we've got the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Now, they were supposedly located in modern-day Iraq, but they are the only one of the 7 wonders for which there is no proof of their existence. They were supposedly a series of tiered gardens built in 600 BC by a Babylonian king for his wife. But as I mentioned, no archaeological evidence exists to prove that they were in fact built. However, some engravings that do show the gardens show the Tower of Babel in the background, something which I'm sure you're all familiar with. Next up, we've got the Temple of Artemis. It was located in modern-day Turkey. It was built around 550 BC and was dedicated to the goddess Artemis. It was rebuilt twice, once after a flood and another after an arson attack, and was finally destroyed in 401 BC. Next up, we have the statue of Zeus at Olympia. It was built around 435 BC in the Temple of Olympia in Greece. The statue was 12.4 meters tall and gilded with ebony and ivory and gold and precious stones. Sadly, the statue was lost and destroyed in the 5th century AD, though little is known about the destruction. It is thought that the temple fell into disuse and the statue was either stolen or just fell into disrepair. There are a number of theories that exist, however. Next up, we've got the mausoleum at Halicarnassus. It was built between 353 and 350 BC in what is modern-day Turkey. It was built as a tomb for King Mausolus and his wife, who apparently was also his sister, which was quite weird. It was 45 meters high and again was adorned with beautiful sculptures, each side of the mausoleum sculpted by a different Greek sculpture. Seemingly, it was so aesthetically beautiful that it was classed as a wonder immediately upon completion. It was completely destroyed, however, between the 12th and 15th century by earthquakes. Aside from the pyramids, it was one of the longest surviving structures and wonders of the world. And also, it is because of this structure that the World Mausoleum is used today to talk about above-ground tombs. Some of the surviving sculptures can actually be seen in the British Museum in London, and if you're ever there, I would highly recommend a visit. Sixth is the Colossus of Rhodes. It was built over 12 years, from 292 BC, and stood at 15 meters tall, standing guard over the harbour of Rhodes. It was initially built to celebrate an overthrown siege attempt, and it is said that the statue was built using iron and bronze from the weaponry from the army that fled the failed siege. The statue represented the patron god of Rhodes, Helios, and it remained standing for 54 years until it too was destroyed by an earthquake. There were many attempts to try and rebuild the statue, but the locals were led to believe that they had offended the god, and so the statue was never rebuilt. And lastly, and perhaps my favourite, is the lighthouse at Alexandria. It is estimated to have stood at over 100 meters tall, and in fact, for many centuries, was one of the tallest man-made structures in the world. It took 12 years to complete, and construction began in the 3rd century BC. It stood on an island outside of the harbour of Alexandria and was destroyed, sadly, as a result of a number of earthquakes. It was the 3rd longest surviving of the wonders after the pyramids and the mausoleum. And parts of it, in fact, survived until 1480. In 1994, a team of French archaeologists dived into the waters around the harbour and found remains from the lighthouse on the sea floor. And in fact, in 2016, discussions were held about creating a museum underwater to exhibit these remains of the lighthouse, and Alexandria itself. So I hope that I was able to help you escape the madness, albeit be it for a moment. And I invite you all to dream up your own virtual tour, because it may be the best chance we have to travel for a while to come. Thank you.